Hey guys, so we're here with our Oracle LED Bluetooth underbody rock light kit. We're gonna go over to the Jeep and see where we can mount these up. So we have a flat mount as well as a curved mount. You can mount these wherever you'd like. It really doesn't matter. What we're gonna do is use our flat mount and mount it inside the inner fender liner so we can easily get the wiring inside the engine bay and have a good rock light on our tire. So now we're gonna mark and drill holes for our rubber mount. So this rubber mount is gonna act as a cushion. If your wheel comes up and hits it, it's gonna take in all of that impact. You're gonna mark and drill 3 holes. 2 holes on the outer sides for the hardware, and then 1 hole on the inside to feed the wire through into the engine bay so you can hook it up to your Bluetooth control module. If you didn't want to drill, you can always attach this with automotive grade 3M tape and run the wires in these inner grooves right here. But we're gonna mark and drill holes on our inner fender liner. So because the hardware has a nut on the outer side, we just want to put it in a place that's easily accessible so we can reach our hand up and attach it there. So this is a nice flat surface. If you had a rounded surface, you can always use the rounded rubber mount, but we are going to mount ours here. Now we're going to go ahead and grab our drill and head over to the Jeep. So after we marked our holes, we're gonna go ahead and drill. I have a 5/32 drill bit that we're gonna drill into the inner fender liner with. Just make sure you have nothing on the other side that you're gonna be drilling into. Now that we drilled the 2 outside holes with the 5/32 drill bit, we're gonna go ahead and drill the middle hole with this same drill bit. It's not gonna be big enough to actually fit the wire through, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna use it as a pilot hole so we can get a 3/8 drill bit in and drill that out for our wire. Now we're going to use our 3/8 inch drill bit. So now we're going to go ahead and mount up our rock light. So we have our rock light here with all of this wire. We have 11 feet of wire. We're not going to need all this wire for the front since this wire is going to be easily accessible in the engine bay, but it's really going to come in handy for when we're in the back inner fender well when we need all of that wire to reach up to our engine bay. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take your light and pull the wire through your mount. And then your light is just going to sit right on top. It's going to have a little area where it's going to sit flush. And now we can go ahead and mount it up. So you can take the end of the wire and put it through the larger hole that we drilled in the middle. If you don't want to drill that larger hole, you can take the wiring out and route it through the side like I mentioned before. You're just going to stick this through here. Just grab it on the other side. That makes it good with our position, so everything is easily accessible. And just feed it through, being careful of the wire. This is going to be heavy gauge wire, so it's going to be good for all of that outdoor use that it's seeing. So it's going to be pretty durable. Just always want to be careful with wiring. Now we're just going to let the wiring hang real quick while we go ahead and mount up our light. We're going to pull it through to the engine bay in a little bit after we set up our Bluetooth control module. But this is going to help seat our light and hold our mount in position while we're putting in our hardware. Now you're going to go ahead and take your hardware. You have an Allen key head on the one side, and then on the other side you have a nut that's a 7mm nut. I just took one of our 7mm wrenches and a hex key, and I'm just going to mount it up. So after that's in there, you can go ahead and reach around, find the bolt head. Might have to toy with it a little bit, just because it's inside the fender well. Don't tighten it down yet. Just make sure that you get the other one in position, then you can go back and tighten everything up. Might be easier just to pull it down, give yourself some space so when you reach around, you can thread that nut on. So now that it's in position, you can go ahead and take your key. You're not gonna have a lot of room to work with, but you're gonna have enough room to tighten it down. I would recommend to get your wrench in place before you go ahead and grab your key. The other side. So up here you're going to have to go over the shock tower, but you will have enough room. So you might be thinking after we mounted this up that it's in a really susceptible spot to water, mud, and anything coming up off the road or on the trail coming up and hitting it. Now, this has a powder coat aluminum body, so it's gonna be able to take a hit and it's gonna be rust and corrosion resistant. So not only is the rock light able to take a hit as well as be resistant to any water or mud coming up in this fender well, but the wire connectors are also weatherproof, so you don't have to worry about those either. Now that we have the front all mounted up, we're gonna move to the back. And we're just gonna do the same thing that we did up front and mark and drill holes before we do anything else. Now we're gonna go ahead and drill our holes with the same 5/32 drill bit. You just wanna be careful on the back inner fender liner. You have this plastic piece and then you also have your metal body on the back. There's a little bit of space between the two. You wanna make sure that you don't hit the body. So now after we marked and drilled our holes, you're not gonna have enough room to reach your hand back behind the liner like we did in the front. To make it a lot easier, we're just gonna go ahead and remove the liner to mount the rock light up. Now we can go ahead and do the same thing that we did for the front and feed our wires through and mount up our rock light. So after the rock light is fed through, then we can feed our wiring through the holes that we made in our inner fender liner. And like I mentioned, guys, with this liner out, it's gonna be a whole lot easier to go ahead and mount this up. Now we can put our hardware in, and I would put the bolt through before we actually go ahead and flip this over to get the nut on. So with that mounted like this, if you want to, after you get the nut on, you can go ahead and trim these. We have enough room where you don't have to trim them, but that's totally up to you. Once those are on there, you can take your 7mm wrench and your Allen key, go ahead and tighten that up. So once your hardware is tight, now we can go ahead and reinstall our inner fender liner. And after this, we can move over to the other side. So now we can go ahead and open up the hood so we can pull our wires through to connect them to the Bluetooth control module. You can just tuck the wire up through here and you should be able to access it through the other side. Same goes for the front. Tuck that up through. To make it easier, and grab both connections. Over here, I can hook it on the rack, and we can go up top. So your front wire is obviously going to be a lot longer than your back wire, but you can just arrange the wires and pull them up. You want to make sure you position the wires so they're not in the way of any moving parts, like this back wire being connected to a control arm so it doesn't chew through the wire. Now you can just tuck the wire and let it sit so we can go ahead and attach the other side and then get our Bluetooth control module ready to set everything up. So after you're done attaching all of your rock lights to your wheel wells, you're gonna want to install your Bluetooth control module. Now we're just going to install this underneath the engine bay, but we wanna make sure that it's in a good location where it can reach all 4 of our connectors as well as a 12-volt power source. We're gonna attach this to the top of our fuse box, and like I said before, you can universally mount this. It doesn't matter as long as you can reach all 4 of your connections. They also give you on the side 2 tabs where you can use hardware to mount it. We're going to use 3M tape. Now, after we have the Bluetooth control module anchored down, we can go ahead and connect all 4 of our connections. Now, I would start with this end wire connecting to your back driver's side wheel well rock light, because it's going to be the one that's closest. And you're still going to have a little bit of slack. And don't worry, all these wires will be cleaned up at the end so they won't look like a rat's nest. And then after the connectors are plugged in, you have this little spindle that will go on here and secure them down. Tuck that out of the way. These will also have little notes on them where you can plug them in, and they will just slide on. Take your thread and thread it down. Move on to your next connection. Now the 2 front wires are going to have the most length because they're the closest, and you will be able to clean those up. And the last one also have little arrows. Make it super easy. Now after you have all of your connectors connected, then you can go ahead and clean up all of the wiring with a couple of zip ties. I would recommend zip tying this here just to make sure that all of your wires from the start are together. Then you can move along back. All 4 of these connectors are going to be together, so you can just loop that around here. And now this is going to depend on where you mount this and how your wires are. But you can go ahead and clean up this wiring over here. Again, making sure that you're not having it in the way of any moving parts. You don't want any moving parts tearing up your wiring. So on this side, you just have to be careful of your steering. And then over here, you just have to be careful of your wheel well. Go ahead and fold all of your wiring up. So now we're going to go ahead and connect our positive and our negative wire to our battery. Now you can see here that these are just some stripped wires. We're going to go ahead and connect a little prong to that so we can go ahead and attach it to our battery. So you can go ahead and make sure that you have enough wire exposed to get it into the connector. You can go ahead, twist your wire down, and add your connector. that is on there. Take your crimpers and crimp that down. Once that one's done, you can go ahead and start on your negative. Now these red connectors are going to be for a smaller gauge wire, and they're going to go up in size with every color that you choose. But since this is a small gauge wire, red is just going to be just fine. Once that's connected on there, we can go ahead and disconnect our battery with a 10mm socket. Now with the negative battery terminal disconnected, we can go ahead and attach our power wire. Put your connector in there, around the bolt, and then you can tighten your bolt down. Once you tighten the bolt down, it'll go ahead and keep that connector in place. Now we can go ahead and reconnect our negative terminal. Now that everything's connected and your hood is closed, your rock lights are going to be on, so you can go ahead and download Magic Moment on iOS or Android, and you can go ahead and control your rock lights from there. Now, after you download the app Magic Moment, you're going to have a bunch of features. First, your lights are going to automatically turn on once they get power from the battery, but in order to control them, you have to go over and connect it from My Device. Now our device here is listed because that's the only device that we're connecting to. You also have an operation guide which just explains how to use the app and all of its features, and then you can go back and actually control it. So here is going to be your main screen, and you're going to be able to control the color of your lights as well as hit on the color wheel for whichever light that you want to choose. So that's going to be your main screen. Then you have another screen here where you can go ahead and choose a different color to adjust and turn on and off. Now you can go ahead and adjust the speed of that if you want it slower or if you want it faster. You can also adjust between different colors like red and green, and it'll switch back and forth. On the last one, you're going to have a strobing feature. We can't show that on our camera, but it's going to have an option for rainbow. It's going to switch between all of the colors, and you can also choose your speed with this one. Lastly, you can swipe over, and you're going to be able to connect it to your music. So you can go ahead and then you have a couple of choices down at the bottom where you want to stream your music from. So after getting these rock lights hooked up, I personally like the 4-piece set. That's going to run you about $75 at the moment, but there is also an option for an 8-piece set for $135 if you wanted to turn a couple extra heads. So that's it for my review and install on the Oracle Bluetooth ColorSHIFT Underbody Rock Light Kit. For more videos like this, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.